I want to make a wood wallet, something kind of slim, fits in your pocket easy, just holds the necessities just for around town. And I'm thinking as far as the design goes, maybe metal and dark wood. That combination probably looks a little bit masculine. Oh, I could glue the whole thing together. How about screws instead? That way I could take it apart, make adjustments, as in have it hold less cards or more cards. Now that I'm thinking this whole design in my head, I think I'm gonna start with the metal. I got a big metal plate. This is overkill. I don't need all this. Actually, just like a little sliver here off the edge, and one of those cuts would be plenty for an entire wallet, but you gotta roll with what you got, right? That's what I got. So I'm gonna cut that, and also while I'm at it, I have some thinner stuff. I'm gonna cut this too, because I'm not really sure how thick of a wallet I want, and I don't wanna redo it if I realize I like one better than another. To make these cuts, I'm gonna use a metal cutting blade. Now, I know that RPMs, when it comes to a metal cutting saw versus a woodworking tool, RPMs are a little bit different. I have a metal cutting blade that works at the same RPMs as my saw, so I'm good. I really like this blade. Not sponsored, just a great blade. You can just use regular saw blades on woodworking tools to cut like aluminum or brass. I like the metal cutting blade. I'm gonna go with that. Now, as far as my cuts go, I'm gonna put some blue tape over my plate. That's gonna give me a cleaner cut. Just like if you cut a board, sometimes you get a little bit of fraying there on the edges. You can get the same thing on metal, and I don't want that, so the tape's gonna help. Then I'm gonna make my cut, and I'm just gonna make it nice and smooth, take my time. I don't wanna have a whole lot of heat build up. Let the saw blade do all the work. Got my piece of aluminum. Good thing about aluminum is it's so light, especially compared to brass. So if you're looking for something light in the pocket, aluminum might be your best bet. I'm thinking dark wood with this. It needs to be thin. So instead of milling up a whole board, I think I'm gonna go to my scroll saw drawer. This is all thin pieces that I would use for scroll sawing. And there's all kinds of goodies in here. But again, it's all thin stuff, which is perfect for a wallet because I only need small pieces. What's up, Mike? After sanding down my walnut board, I cut it into 2 pieces. Now, each one of these could give me a front and back. So what I'm gonna do is cut them to the final length. So I'll cut one for the front and one for the back. And while I have my saw set up for that, I'm also gonna cut my aluminum to the same size. I gotta make some layout marks where I want to drill these holes to assemble this thing. And while I was doing all the design work, I found there's a piece of this really beautiful, super dark chocolate brown board that some exotic species, I don't remember what it is, honestly. I thought it was too cool to pass up, so I actually cut a couple pieces from that. I figured one of my wallets would be made from this, another one could be made from walnut, or I don't know, maybe I'll make a third one. I don't know. It was just too cool to pass up, right? So I am going to make my marks and I'm gonna drill some holes. And here's my plan. For the thicker wallet, I should be able to thread a screw through the top board and then up to the bottom board using the same hole. But for the thinner wallet, I'm probably gonna have to offset those screws. No big deal. Now this is a little bit counterintuitive for me because whenever I'm drilling a hole where I wanna recess a screw down, I like to drill the bigger hole first, then drill the pilot hole. I know a lot of people do it the opposite way, but for me, if I drill the big hole first, I use a brad point bit, the tip of that point gives me the perfect dimple for me to drill the pilot hole after that, and then I end up getting cleaner cuts. At least I do. If I'm gonna take the bigger one and drill all the way through, I'm gonna do the pilot hole first, then come back and widen the hole. So no big deal, just opposite to what my brain likes. I'm gonna assemble the wallet using some double-sided tape or painter's tape with some super glue. Kind of depends on what tape I have in the shop. I'm gonna go over to the drill press because I'm gonna drill a lot of holes and I want them to be accurate. And I think it'd be kind of cool to have several screws showing too, so I'm gonna opt for more screws than less screws. For the thinner wallet, that's gonna be a bit different. I'm gonna make multiple trips back and forth to the drill press. I'm gonna take both the wood plates and I'm gonna drill the wider holes for the recess of the screws. I'll use some double-sided tape to attach the aluminum to one of the wood pieces, then go back, drill the pilot hole through the wood, through the aluminum. Then I'll take the aluminum off, stick it onto the other wood piece, and do the same thing. Drill those pilot holes through all the bigger holes I drilled, and then through the aluminum. And conceptually, hypothetically, theoretically, all this is gonna work out absolutely magically in my head. This is just a wallet, so we've got some really tiny screws, which means I got this little tiny tap so that I can thread these holes that we just drilled out for the aluminum. Good thing about the aluminum is it's gonna be really easy to thread. There's something kind of magical about this for me. I don't know, some sort of Zen-like feeling to be able to take a hole like this and then thread it. There's probably metalworkers out there that are just kind of giving me a side eye like, yeah, okay, no big deal, but it's okay. It's okay to think it's kind of cool. No one's judging you. It's okay, you can admit it. We spin this thing and then we take that out and the screw just fits right in there. It's pretty sweet. I did opt for socket head screws with this because I really dislike Phillips head screws. If I don't have to use them, I don't want to use them. And an Allen wrench just seems a whole lot easier to me. That looks pretty sweet. It's easy to put bank cards into the wallet, but how do you get them out? Well, for me, I'm gonna cut a notch out of it. I think it's gonna give it a clean look, but also a little bit modern. That's gonna go well with some of the accents like the metal that we have. Now to do that, I've got a dado stack here in my table saw. So I'm gonna take all my pieces, stack them together, and make the cut all at the same time, so the notch is gonna be, well, all the same. Check it out. I really like it. The cutout looks good, looks clean, and look at this. The cards don't come out, but they easily pull out without a problem. I've got 4 cards here and they just, awesome. So I do have the bigger one here. It's really big. I think, honestly, I think it's too big. I think it's a little bit chunky. I don't know that I'm gonna like it as much, so I'm glad that I made different ones because I'm gonna set that one off to the side. I think this one's gonna be better. We do have a way to adjust this so it holds less cards if you really wanted to go minimalist with this, but we can do that later on. So at this point, it needs to be sanded. Aluminum sand's really easy, but I'll probably sand a pretty high grit over on the edges. I wanna make sure that aluminum is smooth, there's no marks in it, but I'm not necessarily looking for it to be a gloss look. I'm good with it being matte, or even perhaps semi-gloss. Really the key here is just making sure that everything has a soft feel. Round over all the edges, make sure there's nothing sharp because this is gonna be in your pocket, it's gonna be in your hand, and well, it needs to be comfortable. One of the reasons why I use screws, customization. I made an extra wood plate, and this one's gonna have a money clip that I'm gonna epoxy on it. Some people carry cash. They may want this. Some people don't really carry a whole lot of cash. They may not want it. So with the screws, you can customize it. This is a wallet, it's gonna be in your pocket, it's gonna get some wear and tear, keys banging against it and all that kind of stuff. So you got 2 options when it comes to finishing. You can try to protect it as much as possible or just lean into it. To protect it, you could use poly or lacquer, some sort of film finish. It will reduce the amount of scratches and stuff on it. It's also much harder to touch up later on. So if you gotta actually sand through the finish and apply a new coat, and it's a bit tougher. Or you can go the opposite, which is what I'm gonna do, which is I'm just gonna apply some teak oil. It's got a little protection to it. Not a whole lot, but you know, I figure the nicks and stuff just kind of gives it a little bit more charm. And if it does get beat up a little bit too much, a quick little sanding, a little bit more oil, and a few minutes later, it's like it never happened and it's brand new again. Remember when I talked about customization? Well, you can get some of this. This is just some black felt. It's peel and stick. You can get it at different thicknesses. Take it, cut off a piece of that, stick it onto the back right here in between the aluminum, and now you've got some cushion. And it's gonna hold less cards. So if you say, well, I don't want to hold 4 cards, I want to hold 3 cards or 2 cards, put a little felt in there and you've customized it. absolutely stunning. I love the walnut with the aluminum. It has clean lines and gives it a modern look. This is a great entry into using metal in projects. If you've shied away from using metal, this is the way to do it because you don't use a lot of materials. You don't have to have a bunch of crazy tools, but look at the end result. It gives you a look that you're not gonna get just sticking with wood. I love this one so much that I've got some brass, so I think I gotta make another one. Hope you enjoyed this video and tune in again, get in your shop and build something awesome.